Welcome to the Corporate to Coach podcast. I'm Pamella, a former corporate professional turned certified life and business coach and mentor. If you're ready to sign clients, grow your soul-led coaching business, and shed the employee identity so you can step fully into business ownership, you're in the right place. Let's begin. Welcome to the How to Build Your Coaching Business Around the 9 to 5 webinar with Coaching with Pamella. That is me. I am your coach, Pamella Pritchard. Please, if you're watching this on replay, grab a notepad, a pen, a drink, get comfortable. If you're here and you join live, then of course, feel free to join me on camera if you so wish. Engage and ask questions. I will be inviting you to reflect as we go through, but it's also going to be fast paced. I really do love to see your responses because I want to know what's landing. And if there's anything in particular that really stands out to you for me to dive into a little bit more on. If I don't hear back, I'll just steamroll ahead. But if there is anything you want more clarity on, more information on, more examples on, just let me know. Also, let me know if it's resonating, if it's something that you've experienced. One of the things that I so needed when I was building my business around my 9 to 5 was just some freaking validation that I wasn't the only one going through what I was going through. This is literally why I do what I do and why I continue to be so passionate about this after 3 years of doing this very specific type of offer for this specific type of coach. Not all coaches are career driven. Not all coaches are coming from an established identity in their career. Not all coaches are building a 9 to 5. There's plenty of new mums, plenty of young coaches who never really did the career thing and they just kind of did little jobs. But if, like me, you come from a career and that is what you've known since you were, 18, 20, going to uni, doing all the right stuff, even if you didn't go to uni, so many of my clients didn't go to uni, but they've ended up in very established careers and then woke up one day and had a freaking awakening and realized that coaching is actually what they want to do with their life moving forward, however that may evolve. But at this conjecture, it is one-to-one coaching that you are prioritizing, then you're in the right room. So let's dive in. You're in the right place because you're a life coach. Now, don't worry if you are a spiritual coach, a women's coach, a health coach, a confidence coach. You're a coach. You're a coach that is in the business of one-to-one transformation. You want to make life coaching your main source of income, right? Let's be honest here. You want to make one-to-one life coaching your main source of income, and you have a 9 to 5. Now look, 9 to 5 is my catch-all term for any kind of job. Even if you work 8 till 7, like I did, 8 a.m. till 7 p.m. most days. Even if you work shifts, even if you work nights, even if it's part-time, even if it's consulting. I've got a number of clients that have worked with me because they have made the shift from their full-time corporate career into more of a part-time gig. But if they're honest with themselves, they still want to make coaching their primary source of income. This is for you. Let me know in the chat if you're like, yeah, I am in the right place. Please just confirm for me that this is literally where your circumstances are. If these are not your circumstances, that's okay. There is plenty of stuff that we're covering that, regardless of your circumstances, are going to be essential for you to grow your business. But this particular workshop is really, really working with the coaches who are straddling two worlds and dealing with a corporate identity or career identity alongside their coaching identities, which is where they really want to be versus where they are. So perhaps you're also in a position right now where you're not seeing enough clients come through. You spend a lot of time thinking about your business, but you don't have as many clients as you want. I always think this is really interesting to explore with the coaches who work with me. You're thinking about your business 24/7, right? You wake up thinking about content. You can't listen to a podcast without coming up with messaging ideas. You have a conversation with friends or loved ones or a colleague, and you're like, yeah, you need a coach. And you're wondering if it's appropriate to say so. And the efforts that you put into your business don't create as many clients as you know that you're capable of. Let's be honest, you've gone pretty far in your career. You're well respected, you're well considered, and you work damn hard to get to where you got to. And what you have in your business results don't quite match up with that yet. And here's another thing I see with the coaches who tend to come to me. The clients you've already signed seemed kind of easy. Like they kind of dropped in out of nowhere. You're not sure how you'll do it again, and especially not at the rate you need to replace your income and beyond. That might be completely true for you, and it might be partially true for you. You might be thinking, Jesus, I'll just be happy to sign a client. Or it might be actually in reflection and hindsight, yeah, the clients you've signed, it was great, but how do I keep going? How do I do this again? How do I do this to replace my salary? Just FYI, these were the things I was thinking when I was in a 9 to 5 building my business. I know this not just because my clients tell me, but because I have lived and breathed this and I've come out of the other side. So you're welcome to stay, but this may be a more advanced discussion for you if those things that I've just said don't quite apply to you, but also if at the moment you need to focus your time on certification and developing coaching confidence. So, some assumptions that I'm making as we go into this webinar is that you're here because you know how to coach. That if I could give you clients, you would be running with them. That yes, you're in the grand scheme of things a newer coach, perhaps, but when faced with a client, you hold your own. You do give them a beautiful transformation. You give them a beautiful experience. And the reason why this is important to discuss is because there is a big gap between starting your business. I'll be doing a podcast episode at some stage on this. There is a big gap between starting your business and actually building the foundations of a solid business and then growing that business. I'm not talking to the starter coach here. You've told people you're a coach. Maybe not everyone, but your loved ones, the people that matter. You've started creating content and telling people. I'm assuming that that's in place in order for us to have this level of discussion. Now, if that isn't in place, you're so welcome to stay. But the challenges and the problems that we're going to be overcoming today are the kind of challenges that are happening for the coach who is very much in the journey. They've started putting themselves out there. You've even started messaging. You've probably invested. You've been in other programs. Good. I want that. I like to talk to coaches who know a bit about what they're up to, even if you feel like there's still a long way to go, because none of that scares me. I don't need you to come in completely clueless. In fact, I prefer it when you don't. I actually like it when you come in having been in other containers, having been in other investments, having actually put yourself out there and experience what it's like to be expressed, to be exposed, to be visible, to sell and then think, oh, fuck, it isn't working. Because that's when you're most primed for the growth. That's when you're most primed to take it and actually run with it. Because now it's not just a, oh, fuck, I'm doing this. It's, I'm fucking doing this. How are we going to make this work? Let me know in the chat if this is resonating. So here's my promise to you for this webinar. I'm going to share with you the crazy, stupid, simple process that I use to build my coaching business when I was in a 9 to 5, and the same process that I give my clients now. And it's going to mean that when you implement this, you'll be able to sign clients, make money, and become a CEO. I like simplifying business because when I was in a 9 to 5, it felt very, very frustrating and very, very complicated. And it felt like I was missing something all the time. And in actuality, it was all right there for the taking. I'd already actually put a lot in place. And so this is something I want you to consider as you listen to this. This isn't and for some of you, it might be oh, fuck, I didn't know what I didn't know. This actually does fill in a lot of gaps for me. And I'm so glad somebody finally fucking told me. And now we can take it forward. But for many of you, and what I've noticed with the coaches that work with me is that actually none of this is new. actually you had some aspect of business foundations. In fact, you've already, like I just said, invested a lot to get to where you've got to. But what you didn't have is somebody who provided it to you from this bird's eye perspective. That's what I want to give you today. And what I want to ask you to connect to as you listen to this is if you connect to the frequency that I operate at, the energy that I show up in, the way that I speak about these problems, so that it activates possibility, aliveness, opportunity, potentiality in you. I don't want you to come here to discern if I'm right or wrong. You can totally disagree with me. Very happy for you to do so. What I really want for you is to use this to either uplift belief, to reaffirm the belief that you already have, and to give you the confidence and the courage and the drive to keep fucking going. Because the world needs what you have to offer. So I'll either be a reflector for you or an activator for you. And if you like what you hear, then absolutely, I'll be inviting you to join me and stay with me at the end. This is what we're going to cover today so that you know what to expect and what you're going to hear about and what we're going to discuss so that you know what you're learning and what's actually going to be coming up. I'm going to be telling you a little bit more about my story and some of my client stories as well. And not just from a place of like, oh, I've done it, you can do it too. Obviously, yes. But actually, I'm going to give you some quite different perspectives about where clients are on their journeys and the decisions that they had to make in order to build their business around the 9 to 5. Why? Because it's really nice to know that you're not in this alone, that there are so many different situations and circumstances in which coaches are actually building their business around the 9 to 5, and that they don't tell you this. You don't see this on their social media. Not every coach that you follow, you don't know what their circumstances are. You don't know if they're also trying to do this around the 9 to 5. And to be honest, they don't necessarily need to tell you. It's not actually out of integrity if you're following a coach and you don't know what their whole story is. The problem is when we make it a problem and we feel like they owe us something. But I thought it would be really valuable for you to hear about some of the other circumstances in which coaches are building their business around the 9 to 5 so that you can see some kind of resonance in some of the other stories that I have to share. I won't spend too long on that though. What I'm more interested in telling you is the 5 things. Okay, this needs to be updated. This was my marketing, the 5 things most coaches get wrong about building your business around the 9 to 5. There's 14 things that I identified. I'm not going to harp on about it. I'm just going to tell you what they are so that you can see if you're doing those things. And if you are doing those things, it's okay, I've got you. But I want you to know, because I don't want you to feel alone in this, but I also need you to know what's going wrong so that you can solve for it, so that you can grow and build your business. I'm going to share the simple framework that I use for strategy. Again, I'd be surprised if it feels like rocket science. It's really, really simple. And it's implementable. You might run with this and that will be enough. You'll hear it here and you will be satisfied. Good. Do. And if this is the room where you're like, actually, I like how she does it and the frequency she does it in, then we can discuss working together later. I'm sharing mindset shifts as we go. This is going to be something that I discuss throughout the webinar. The level at which I invite you to rise, the level that I wish for you to reconsider your 9 to 5. Some of the things I'm going to be talking about from the employee to CEO mindset. But I go into this a lot on the podcast. So I don't want to take up too much time on the mindset stuff because there is plenty of podcast episodes that dive into this in more detail than what I can do today. But I did want to go over the client signing skills that you need. This bit here is going to be key. Because this, regardless of all the shit, the 14 things, whatever, that you're getting wrong, what's really going to be valuable is knowing what skills you need to be prioritizing so that you can prioritize them moving forward. I'll also introduce Thrive, which is my group program that I'll be opening up today. And I'll be doing an exclusive bonus only for those of you who are live. So if you're live right now, And I've got your names, and I'm keeping a log of you and anyone who joins. Don't worry if you have to leave halfway through. You've made an effort to show up today. I am going to be providing a no-brainer bonus that actually makes it really fucking exciting to think about inviting you in to join me for Thrive Group. If you wish to stay for that, you can. I will send you a separate message because this bonus won't be on the replay. For everyone who is watching on replay, there will be a separate bonus for you, and you won't know what the secret bonus is for those who joined live. And then at the very end, I'll do Q&A. But if you're here live, put your questions in the chat, okay? Ask me as you go, because if you're anything like me, you'll forget by the end. So ask me as we go, and I can provide my thoughts and responses as we go through it. So, brief introduction. This is me, my corporate background. My last job before I went full-time into coaching was that I was a client relationship manager in a global FTSE 500 research and advisory firm. I worked in London, Exeter, and Washington. And I come from a BA honours in business management and human resources. My clients that I worked with when I worked in corporate was law, Magic Circle, Silver Circle, Big Four accountancy firms, real estate, pharmaceutical, energy, manufacturing. I said energy twice, sorry, media tech and startups. My client base was global. So I worked with clients in the US, USA, Australia, Europe, New Zealand, South Africa, very much like I still do now in my coaching business, funnily enough. And coaches that work with me are coaches, light workers. I've also supported individuals who have come from a therapist background, hypnotist background who are selling coaching, C-suite, senior management, management in HR, marketing, sales, business development, customer service, IT research, engineering, accounting, and teachers. I'm sure there's a few job titles I've missed in there. Obviously, this doesn't reflect like specific job titles, but these are the general roles that people have been in. Also, actually, some medical professionals as well. That's who I always miss, medical professionals, and I must update this. So whatever your background, like I said before, it might not be corporate, but you have an established identity in a previous or in a current career. And look, when I was in-house and I was in corporate, the kind of revenue that I was managing was from 250K revenue up to 10 million in revenue. So an average deal size for the kind of things that I was doing as a client relationship manager, deals ranged from 6 to 20K. And then in later jobs, 46 to 250K. So I'm used to dealing with big money. My background in business and dealing with C-suite, dealing with revenue generating roles, being very business minded, always talking about numbers with my clients. That I think is one of the things that has made me a really effective business coach, even though I never planned on being a business coach when I first went into coaching. I was a top consultant in my recruitment days, in my HR days. I did pretty good as a client relationship manager, although I was only in that for about a year and a half before I left to go into coaching. And my clients were billion-dollar organizations. So like I say, pharma, energy, oil companies, banks, Magic Circle, law firms, like big, big organizations. Normally, I don't feel the need to flaunt this shit anymore. I used to live and breathe this identity. As you can see, the suit, this picture was taken in Exchange Square in London. I loved it. I lived for it. I was a city girl, career woman through and through until I wasn't. Now, as a coach, I'm certified an ICF coach, but I am very much a coach and mentor. I joined the Click Method, now the She Leads program in 2020. I also completed the Coaching Craft Academy because I'm a huge advocate for continuous development of my coaching ability and coaching skill. It's one of the things that I advise all of my clients to do. I can imagine my business evolving into this in the future, but like I said earlier, I coach coaches who are highly competent in coaching, even if you're new. Because to be a good coach is as much confidence as is as much personal power and owning what you bring to the table. But something has to be said for coaching ethics, coaching skill, and coaching integrity, which is why I continue to up-level myself as a coach year on year. So, some things to know about the way that I built my business, which is relevant to you building your business around the 9 to 5. My email list it makes me laugh. I actually felt a little bit when I first wrote this a couple of weeks ago when I was planning for this webinar. I actually felt a little bit of shame when I wrote less than 300 on my email list. And as I've reflected over that over the last couple of weeks, I'm actually really fucking proud. I'm very clear on who I serve. I am very clear on what I'm about. And I am very happy if people unsubscribe. I only want people who are soul clients. That's one of my philosophies that you'll learn when we work together. But for me, soul clients are people who go, yeah, she's my person. It just makes sense. With a tiny email list of less than 300, I've doubled my revenue year on year. I started my Instagram and email list with 0. My first webinar had 70 signups and they were all organic. And before I became a business coach, I sold one-to-one life and career coaching for 18 months before business coaching. There was a bit of overlap as I retired my career change program and fully transitioned into business coaching. Lots of clients ask me, or not so much clients, lots of people ask me before they work with me, why am I qualified to be a business coach? Well, hence why I took a bit of time telling you about my corporate background. But also, I genuinely learned how to sell one-to-one life coaching before I ever even ventured into business coaching. The reason I became a business coach is because my colleagues in certification were asking me, how are you signing clients and I'm not? What am I missing? What's going on here? How is it that you joined and certified to become a coach in 2020 and you had clients within 6 months of certification? And not just single sessions here and there, but high ticket one-to-one clients. So I started telling them. And at first, it was honestly, it was just mindset coaching. It was just more about the mentality, the attitude, the embodiment, the belief. In time, people were like, yeah, but what's the system? What do I need to do? How do I actually like messaging? Tell me about it. Sales calls, tell me about it. Creating offers, tell me about it. Pricing, tell me about it. That's how Thrive Portal, Thrive 2.0 came about because I started to realize I was repeating myself, I was teaching the same things, and that this is an approach that lots of coaches really love to take as they're evolving their business, as they're growing into the business owner they want to be. Most coaches begin with selling one-to-one coaching before they go to one-to-many. Most coaches learn how to sell one thing before they learn how to sell 10 other things. And if that one thing you're selling is 1,500, 2K, 3K, 5K, 10K, that's a damn side lot more money to sell to one person versus trying to sell 110 $10 things to, or sorry, $10 things to 100 people, trying to find all those people when you're still learning how to get visible. I have since created courses, masterminds, one-to-one, and group. And something that's really important to know that I've had a lot of feedback on recently is that this group container that I'm going to tell you about at the end, but who I speak to, who I'm for, is purely for coaches, not digital course creators, not people trying to sell PDFs, not people trying to sell short courses or evergreen or hairdressers or social media managers, coaches. And that matters because your messaging is different. The type of transformation isn't transactional. The work we do is deep, it's meaningful, it's soul led. That requires a level of personal power, of integrity, of messaging power and visibility that is a little bit different to when we're selling services that are more transactional based, like being a social media manager or being a hairdresser or just selling a digital course. This is about building relationships, building presence, building a name for yourself, but also building the certainty within. And what's important is that everything I do is still purely organic. So one of the biggest challenges with business, with coaching businesses, is that it is a very low barrier to entry. You literally need a phone, a Zoom, and you can go. And you can even get Zoom for free. There are so many people who want to become a coach who even tell me, I've started certification, I've taken on a free client. But I say to them, are you planning to be a business owner? Are you planning to have this replace your salary? That is a different level of discussion, which is why I wanted to elevate the discussion here today. So the timeline for me was I began in January 2020. My coaching business started in 2020. I left my corporate career in April 2021. I had a 4-month notice period, so I resigned at Christmas. It was great. 4-month notice period, so I didn't get to leave until April 2021. I left the UK in 2021, so I was living in London at the time. I traveled New Zealand and Australia for 2 years, and I'm now broadcasting here from Australia. So that's just a bit of background about me. And this is something that I want you to know that you're probably thinking. Here's the truth about leaving my corporate career behind. It made no sense to anyone but me. This was a choice I made for me, not for anyone else. I did decisions for everyone else. I went to uni like I was meant to. I got a job like I was meant to. I worked up the career ladder like I was meant to. I went for the promotions like I was advised to. I was very lucky to curate a brilliant career for myself, but I did it because I felt like that's what I should do. The thing that made me find coaching was a panic attack at work that made no sense because I was just burning the candle at both ends, trying to do it all. Work hard, play hard, earn really, really good money, play as hard as I work, burn out, do it all over again until the burnout became unsustainable. And that's when I found coaching. So I was like a high performer. I was a high performer. Life is good. Life is really great, actually. But also, is this who I am? Is this what I really want? Let me know in the chat if you resonate. And this is the thing. This is a really important thing. When I found coaching, I knew very fucking early on that it wasn't ever just going to be a hobby. I took coaching on because I knew I wanted to take it on. I wanted to become a business owner. I wanted to take it all the way. I wanted the freedom. I want to have kids one day. I don't have children yet, even though plenty of my clients are mums. I don't yet have children, but if I'm blessed to, I want to be home for them. I don't want to have to compromise a maternity leave. I don't want to have to figure that out. Running a business is going to be a different kind of challenge, don't get me wrong. There's going to be stuff to figure out. There'll still be some kind of maternity leave with that. But I wanted it to be on my terms. I wanted the freedom to travel, to live abroad, to go where I want, do what I want, earn what I want, have uncapped potential. And as someone who had a commissioned role, who had the opportunity to make a lot of money and did make a lot of money, to want more than that seemed fucking ridiculous. And it made no sense to anyone but me. Yeah, resonating in the comments here. So, you know my journey. This is a bit about the clients. I've chosen these guys because there's lots of testimonials on the website. These guys are on the podcast because you hear it from them and not from a testimonial perspective, but I'm like, tell me what you did. Like, I know I worked with you. I know we did it together, but from your perspective, what were the key shifts? Roz was a VP level in a corporate role. So, like the classic ideal client for me. She actually went from full-time to part-time in her corporate career into becoming a full-time coach in the 6 months together. All of these within the 6 months have gone from full-time workers in their career to full-time in their coaching business. I just realized I didn't actually put in any clients who have had a much longer journey. So for full disclosure, some of my clients have been on this path for 3 years. I have one-to-one clients that have been with me for 6 months, 18 months, 2 years, 3 years, because for them, they're in C-suite roles and they're not just trying to replace a 50K salary or even a 100K salary. They're trying to replace a 300K salary. And they have a minimum threshold before it's even viable for them to think about. And to get to 300K in your coaching business, that's a long game. And that doesn't scare them. And they work with me for that journey. So Roz, that was her situation. Mayel, this one in the middle, episode 30, she was ops manager. CEO in 4 months. So in 4 months, she transitioned. Now, for her, she was already in a place where she was like, if I don't hand in my fucking notice tomorrow, I'll be surprised. So for her, it was like, let's not rush. Let's slow down. Let's get some foundations in place so that your business is a little bit more established. She had a much higher risk tolerance. This is really important to note. She had lower overheads. She was in a financial position where it wasn't as much of a risk for her to take the leap so quickly. This is in context that we don't often get to hear about, but I think it's really important that we discuss because your story might be different. She doesn't have a mortgage. Roz does. Big difference there. I'm not sure if that was said on the podcast actually, but these are considerations that I think we need to be having in the open more often. Because what breaks me is when you're there wanting to post, wanting to create, wanting to sell, and then you see these other coaches and they're fucking smashing it, and you don't know that they've got a job. You don't know what other sources of income they've got, and you're thinking, fuck, am I missing something? What's going on? How did she go full time and I didn't? That's why I want to be candid with you. Different circumstances for each of these individuals are very different. Now, uh, Maria, on the right here. This episode is coming out this week, okay? So it's not out yet. So this will be, I think it's episode 67, 66 or 67. Her episode is coming out. She's working with me right now. She's still in her 9 to 5 because she's only been with me for 6 months. She works in a job where she travels and she is literally abroad for like 2 weeks, 3 weeks at a time. So for her, the challenge is she doesn't have a Monday to Friday 9 to 5 or 8 till 7 like I did or like many of my other clients do. Maria's situation is that she's traveling a lot. So for her, it was like, how the fuck are we going to get you visible consistently so that from a front end perspective for her audience, how is she putting systems in place to show up powerfully when she's able to plan ahead, to have the energy capacity to do so, and sign clients? With Maria, the exciting thing is that she is now ready, that she's proven to herself that she can sign clients, that she can continue to consistently be visible even when she's traveling, to actually think about, okay, now what is it going to look like to get to full time? Exactly how many more clients do I want to get to? How much more revenue do I need to get to? What kind of financial buffers do I need to put in place? What exit plan do I need in order to make that happen? So that's like phase 2 of what we're working on at the moment. So for her, this has been like going from 0 to, or I think 1 or 2 clients to now 5 or 6 clients. And she's like, okay, now I've got a new set of problems. Before they were free, I wasn't getting paid, I didn't know how to sign clients. Now I know how to sign clients. I'm getting really busy and I have a very busy job. How am I going to continue signing clients even though I'm nearly at full capacity? This is a conversation where it's about expanding her capacity because we can't create more time. So let's see what it says here in the chat. Yes, I agree. Started my journey in January the previous year. So in 2024, I'm still on that journey and I currently live in London. Whoop, whoop, London, but like to build a larger client base before moving. I love that. So you're doing this in a really considered way. You're not rushing. So that's just some context for some of the things that I was working on with my clients. So tell me, if one sentence, if you could sum it up, what is the one thing that you really want in your coaching business right now? Genuinely curious. Like if there was just one thing that you could have, it's a big question, I know, but put it in the chat. What is it? Maybe it's to build a larger client base, but let me know. Because business is an infinite game, right? It's always interesting when I say build your business, I'm very aware of the fact it's not like building a house. When you build a business, yes, structurally, you can build it like a house. You can put in your website, you can put in, heck, you can put in funnels if you want to, you can put in marketing vehicles, conversion events. You can do that. But once it's built, you can't then just ignore it. We have to continue growing it. So building a larger client base or more consistent. Okay, that's what I see a lot is more consistent clients. So This is what I see. Most coaches who come to me say this to me. I actually did a freaking review of like what people have said in their consults in a nutshell. Make money from life coaching, take, regardless of the niche, life coaching is a catch-all term. Take their business to full time, work for yourself, be a successful business owner, say yes in the chat if this is resonating, become a fully booked life coach. Not everyone says that, but most do. And as a side note, fully booked can be whatever the fuck you want it to be. But for many people, it's like actually a place where they're bursting to the scene with clients. They've got a wait list. It's like bringing in more or seriously having to look at your strategy and moving into one to many. But you don't have to wait to be fully booked to move into one to many. But it's an approach you can take. To be an in high demand coach. So if it's not a fully booked coach, it's a high demanded coach to replace your corporate salary and or to exceed your corporate salary. So for, like I mentioned, one of my other clients who's at 300K, she's just like, look, I'm not even fussed about replacing my corporate salary. I actually would just be very happy with getting close to. For others who are, earning anything from like 30 to 100K, it's like, no, coaching, the appeal of coaching, of this, of entrepreneurship is absolutely because of the potential, because of the growth. And that's what I'm all about. I love that. And have the ambition, hold the vision, hold the mission, but get your business in place first. This is why you want it, though. It's very different to what you want. You want this, but why? Because you want to be in control of how much money you make, because you want to be the best version of you, because you want the time freedom, you want better self-care, you want to connect to your soul's calling. You want to have more time with family. You want to do work you love. You want uncapped income. I said have more time with family twice. It was obviously on my mind. Maybe it's location freedom. Maybe it's to experience the full depth of your own potential, to be your own boss, to be able to spend quality time with loved ones, to look after yourself and have better health. Not just better health, optimum health. You want to be the best version of yourself in this one precious life. Tell me in the chat if you resonate with these things. But these are the things my clients told me. They wanted to advocate for marginalized groups through their work. One of them wanted to move to London. I think another wanted to move to Australia. Oh, yeah, that's here. Move to Australia. Wanted to provide for my family. Didn't want to commute anymore. I resonate with that a lot. I didn't want to commute. I loved the commute and then I hated the commute. Wanted to give back to family, afford first class tickets. That comes up a lot. The first class dream. Again, let me know in the chat if this is resonating, what it is for you. Why do you want this? One of my clients wanted to be self sustaining post divorce. That's a fucking good reason. To work for self, pay for my kid to get specialist education, to redecorate the house, take kids to Disney and not worry about money, afford organic whole foods daily. For one of my clients who's going through some health issues, this is fucking everything. That is her big why. To show my younger self that we did it. I do a lot of inner child work with the kind of business that I help you grow. Tell my boss to suck it. That cracked me up when my client told me that. I was like, okay, yeah, we not sure I'd recommend it, but if that's on the wish list, we'll make it happen. Never hear the Teams, Microsoft Teams ring again. Work with people I like, do good in the world, leave behind toxic work culture, pay for the wedding. Guys, this this is the why, right? And look, this stuff changes. Some of it has an expiry date. Some of it won't be as fucking interesting once you've done it once or twice. Other things are life changing. These are the real whys. Yeah, don't get me wrong. This is sexy. This is nice. Make money, take your business to full time. I know as well as you do, the real why is in this. Know your why. Because any time that you're struggling to build your business around the 9 to 5, you've disconnected from this. When we keep this front of mind, that's where the magic happens. That's where the determination comes from. That's when the urgency comes from. Without urgency, why now? Like, seriously, why? Because you want it? Because you want these things? Nah, that's no different to just building a career. just some slightly different career ambitions. You've done the career thing. This is about your life. This is the lens that I'm looking at it with my clients always. We're always connecting back to this. If I could sit with you over coffee, I would. And by the way, if you're in Australia, in Cairns, and we literally could sit over coffee, let me know so we can do this instead in person. But if it's virtual for now, this is what I want you to know. I know it feels infuriating and you so badly want to be full time. But the more powerful thing you can do in your business is get support, learn the business skills you don't know, and sign clients even when you have a 9 to 5. Then set an exit plan on your terms. This is what I wish somebody sat down with me to say and to share. So right now, these are the 14 things coming up that I see happening for coaches who aren't in a place where they're going to be creating results. The results you want are here, right? If any of these things are happening, these 14 things, you're stifling the growth of this happening. Okay, so let's dive in. Number 1, you feel disheartened when you post but get no bites. You struggle for time or energy around work, just like my colleague Maria did when she joined me. You feel like the 9 to 5 is blocking your growth in coaching. I felt like this all the time. Anytime my boss wanted to see me, I'd be like, oh, for fuck's sake, I could be working on my business right now. My attitude was so bad. Now, one of the things that really helped me was changing my attitude in real time. But I tell you, when this is like systemic, when it's deeply problematic, or when work is just going through a really busy period, then you're going to need a bit of support with that. You're scared to be found out. You spend a lot of time tinkering with a website logo or branding. You look into selling courses and funnels instead of your one-to-one. And you believe at this stage that one-to-many would be easier than one-to-one, probably because it's cheaper, probably because you see other coaches doing it and you think maybe you should too. Tell me in the chat if this resonates. I want you, if you're watching this on replay, star the ones that are most problematic for you. Now, in your business, these are the things that I see tripping coaches up as well. You worry about your price. You want to charge more, but you worry about being too much or too little. You struggle with niche drama still. You don't know who you serve or how to reach them. You feel overwhelmed with content and getting in the energy to even write, to post, to show up, to get visible. Sometimes your message can be vague and it doesn't get the engagement you want. You're using coachy language, but you're not really sharing the thing. And you know this if you ever feel bored by your own content, you're ever writing shit with minimal expectations, you're sharing stuff and you're immediately like, oh, what's the point? You worry about selling too much. Even when you're creating and you're posting and you're getting visible, you have thoughts about selling too much, being seen as salesy, worried about coming across as sleazy, the wrong people seeing it, worrying about other people's judgment of you being seen to sell, worrying about your boss seeing it, your colleagues seeing it. And then when you get people on sales calls or in the DMs, you find talking about price really awkward. You get in your head about what people think. If they don't buy, you don't know exactly what went wrong. And it feels like it was very much out of your control. And you start to think things like, oh, my audience is wrong, or they just don't get it, or they don't understand, they don't want it. And it makes you think that you need a better offer. And so you change your offer again. And then even when all that is dealt with and happening, there is a part of you that worries when you have a busy 9 to 5 that you're also taking on too much and that you don't want to get so busy that you can't even handle the clients that you have and that you don't know how to handle it all. Now, which of these stand out to you? And look, if it's all of them, don't worry, I've got you. If it's one or two of them, good news is you're very specific on what the problem is. Now we just need to go in and tweak them. Small shifts, big changes. But one thing I want you to contemplate is if you resonate with more than 3 things on these lists, then that is exactly why you have the revenue and the clients that you have right now. It makes sense that your business hasn't grown any further than it currently has, when that's what you were thinking. It makes sense that you have the amount of revenue that you have, or that you're holding the amount of clients that you currently have, or that you're doing what you're currently doing. Because when all of these things are like big question marks in your business, then yeah, it ain't going to feel good. It is going to feel like an uphill battle. You are going to be thinking, what the fuck? How do I do this? So, what do? We need to look at the mindset around being an employee mindset and not in a business owner mindset. This isn't your fault. When I saw it, though, I couldn't unsee it. When I first contemplated this and I first went into speaking to other coaches about their business, because they were like, what are you doing that I'm not doing? How are you making it work when I'm not making it work? And they were telling me the things that they were struggling with, which is all these things that I also struggled with to a degree, but I overcame, is, well, when you're an employee, you get paid even if profits are down. Think about this for a second. I'm genuinely curious to hear in the chat. Are you in a position where you are very close to the profits of the business you work for? Maybe you're in charge of budgets. Maybe you have a P&L. Maybe you're on the C-suite and you actually are privy to this information. But even being privy to the information isn't the same as it being your profits. Even a CEO who isn't a founder is still just a CEO being paid. Maybe they have shares. Maybe there is some kind of impact if the business makes money or not. But at the end of the day, if the business goes down, even a CEO can just get another job. When you are the founding business owner of a coaching business, you don't get that. You don't get paid if profits are down. As an employee, you get paid even if you do nothing all day. As an employee, we're often rewarded on presenteeism, not value, which is why they put hours in contracts. Your contracted hours are 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Because how can you quantify the value of someone? You can't. So they just do it by hours. But the problem that creates is that we measure our value in hours, but in coaching, in building your own business, more doesn't equal more. Time doesn't equal results. Hours spent thinking about your business doesn't equal payment. And employees are driven by external things, bonuses, pay reviews, accolades, validation from boss. Founding business owners, it doesn't take long to learn that even vanity metrics like likes and saves and shares and engagement means fuck all if there's no revenue coming in. Maybe you've experienced that yourself. Maybe you've had a post go semi-viral. Maybe you announced you were a coach and everyone supported you and everyone was like, wow, that's amazing. And then the next few posts got nothing because they're like over it by that point. Maybe you sold and got visible and you got crickets. Maybe you even earned money in your business. And the first thought, as elated as you were, was great, I'm going to have to do that again. Being a business owner is very different to being an employee. And when you have been an employee all your life, for the last 10, 20, 30, 40, even 50 years, my oldest client is in her 60s. So she's been a career woman for the last 30 years, 40 years, sorry. What the hell? We're deconditioning from all of that. It's a big ask. But that means going into business is high risk. It means that even when we have a 9 to 5, we are shifting the way that we think about our expectations on our visibility, on our consistency. We're having to grow exponentially as a business owner. And the biggest thing that I see that coaches miss is the business acumen, the consistency, and the belief to go all in. One of the biggest revelations I had was going full time in your business is not the same as going all in on your business. And that actually you can be all in on your business even with a 9 to 5 when you have the skills, the business acumen, the consistency, and the belief. Because no one can build your business for you. No one can build your business for you. You don't get paid if you don't show up. And when your business is a baby or a puppy, it needs to be looked after. It needs to be watered, fed, cared for, loved on consistently. You don't take on a puppy if you're not willing to look after it. We don't take on a business if we're not willing to nurture it, to tend to it, to lead it, to grow it. Is this starting to be the wake up call that we needed? It's both, yeah, I see you, the struggle is real, and I wish someone laid it out as straight for me when I was building my business around the 9 to 5. Because whenever we're in this mentality, it makes us feel like we're entitled to it. And the truth is that we're not. We do have to work hard for it. We have to earn it. I'm not afraid of working hard. I've done my fair share of working hard. I've also done my fair share of burnout, and I don't advocate for burning out. The difference is in how you do. The difference is in the alignment in which you do it from. And the difference is in having business acumen, thinking like a business owner, not being entitled to results because you want them enough, but being willing to learn and operate like a business owner, make high integrity decisions as a business owner. I'm going to go into that in the skills section in a minute. But this is another thing that I see that coaches do a lot. They think they need more healing. And at this stage in your journey, you are absolutely probably on the biggest healing trajectory that you've been on. You found coaching, you're certified. There is still a lot that you are probably unlocking that is deep, that is from your childhood wounds, the bigger stuff. But when it comes to signing clients and building a business, healing happens in tandem. It's not that if I heal enough, then all the money and all the clients will come, because you still have to have business structures in place. You still have to be visible. You'll still have to create content. You'll still have to market and sell. You'll still have to know how to run a sales call. But the healing happens in tandem. For example, when you're on a sales call and someone says to you, oh gosh, that's very expensive. I don't know if I can afford that right now. And you make that mean something about yourself. There is healing that has to happen there. That healing couldn't have happened, though, without the sales call happening. So there is going to be some healing that you're doing adjacent to the coaching business that is healing for healing's sake because there's shit that you want to deal with. I had plenty of that, especially in the first 2, even 3 years of my business. There was lots that was coming up for me just because it was coming up for the first time in my 30-something years of existence, and it needed addressing. And there was a lot of healing that came up because of the action I was taking in my business. Because every time I leveled up in the action taking, it required me to deepen the healing I had already done and to expand in my identity, my capacity, and my belief. It wasn't just a matter of, oh, I know where that comes from now, and I forgive my mum, or I forgive my dad, or I know that I can look after myself. Now it's, how am I going to move? How am I going to transmute this and alchemize this into something that is valuable for my clients, that puts me into a leadership position, that allows me to use this in tandem with my business? That is the difference. The other thing, there's actually, I said 3 in the last slide, it's actually 4. I realized as I was writing this. Taking shortcuts. Staying surface level with short courses, cheap containers that are focused on fast action and short-term wins versus long-term. Clients work with me because they want to sell one-to-one. Because if you're honest to yourself, the real transformation you really give a fuck about is actually really helping clients have the ultimate transformation. That's what it was for me, always, even before I became a business coach. I'm not just here to like help you sign a client or help you get your messaging right or do an exit plan. Those were the like add-on things that I did later. For me, the biggest transformation is you becoming the version of you that you know you're capable of to create the fucking life of your dreams. If that means helping you build your business around the 9 to 5, so be it. That is my calling. Maybe for you, it is a reflection of the journey that you did for yourself. It's not a fucking morning routine. It's not, oh, this is the meditation I did. It can be tempting to sell the little things because it seems easier or it's cheaper. But if you're honest with yourself, the thing that your soul is calling you to do, the work that you want to deliver for your soul clients, the people who are so fucking glad that they found you, that you were the person in their vicinity that actually freaking stands up for the change that they want to make, for the transformation that is available to them, that you are the person walking the walk, that it isn't just a quick thing that you do, but actually it's a 3 month, 4 month, 6 month transformation that's going to require ongoing, continuous, deep, meaningful transformation. That's the work you want to do. I'm inviting you to rise and meet it, to hold the vision, to create an offer that you back so solidly that people can't help but pay attention. I had no business starting a business. I had no business leaving my safe, steady career to go and do my soul's calling. But I couldn't not, because every time I thought about staying in the 9 to 5, doing what was easy, or selling something that was smaller, cheaper, quicker, I was just betraying my truth. I was betraying the version of me that I really wanted to step into. I am not afraid to have the discussion about the hard thing. How the fuck does somebody leave their corporate career or their career and become a full-time coach? I have been in containers with 7-figure coaches when a client comes in and they're like, but I need to replace a very serious salary. I've got a mortgage. I've got kids. I'm genuinely struggling to create content here. And you're just telling me that I need to believe more, like, please help me. And the client stumbles. I'm not afraid to have that discussion. I'm not afraid to help you figure it out. That's the transformation I'm here for. What transformation are you here for? And where are you cutting corners? Where are you trying to do things that you think are going to be easier, cheaper, less stress, less visibility? When if you're honest with yourself, your calling is actually really fucking big, even if you barely are believing it for yourself yet. I think every time that we are not giving ourselves permission to stand fully in our mission and vision and dream, we are holding ourselves back, not just from the people who need our help, not just from the money that we could be making, but from who we get to become. That self-actualization piece. That is what we're here for. Let me know in the chat if you resonate with this. Oh my God, what is with my numbering here? So sorry. Okay, number 4 should be focusing on the wrong areas. So, like I said at the beginning, if you have a level of coaching confidence that you know you can take your clients through a transformation, getting another certification isn't going to help you sign clients. Branding isn't going to help you sign clients when you don't know how to define yourself yet. I've only just started really deeply contemplating what my brand is about. When I first started my business for the first 4 years, I didn't give a fuck about branding. I chose my favorite color, which basically was the color I have in most of my wardrobe. I chose a couple of fonts that I like. I am who I am. I didn't try to be professional. I didn't try to be empowering. I didn't try to be an advocate for coaches in a 9 to 5. It just is who I am. True branding is something that you realize in reflection of who you become. It's not something you try and curate and then step into it. Otherwise, you're just trying to create something that you're not. Be who you are, be in your truth, be in your power, and then give it a language, then give it names. Don't waste time on branding. Be who you are, advocate for what you advocate for, stand in your power with what you stand in your power for, and then the brand builds itself. Ads, hard no. Why I haven't done ads until now is simply this. The reason why I don't do ads at this stage, and I'm only going to start going into ads in the near future, is because I was still creating the messaging. I was still curating exactly how I wanted to communicate this. Same with the logo, similar to brand. I chose a few fonts, chose Canva, job done. I didn't fuck around with it. It took a couple of hours, job done. Not an excuse to not sign clients. Niche, again, I'm going to tell you about that in a second. So I'm not going to go into the niche piece, but I've got a lot of podcast episodes on niche. Every single second that you are wasting trying to figure out a niche before you've coached clients, before you've made money, if a niche isn't absolutely blatantly obvious to you, then you're not ready for one. And business plans, guys, you're not running a restaurant. You don't need licenses. You don't need staff. You don't need permission from the council. Low barrier to entry, a mobile phone and a Zoom link. We're focusing on the wrong area. What you need instead is a simple process for building your coaching business around the 9 to 5. It requires you to sign clients, make money, and become a CEO. That's it. Focus on signing clients, not on certifications, branding, ads, logo, niche, business plan. That is not signing clients. If you want to focus on signing clients, then you focus on signing clients. And this is how. We do it in a really, really, really simple way. Business fundamentals, and then a simple offer, simple marketing, soul-led sales, and CEO embodiment. Let's break this down. A simple offer is literally what it says on the tin. When I started my business, I had one offer, and it was the career change program. It then evolved into certain things, but for about 18 months, all I sold was the career change program. Yes, it's a niche, but prior to that, before I found the career change program, I actually just had a life coaching program. It was just life coaching. It was standard. First session was clarity. Second sessions were limiting beliefs. Third sessions were overcoming belief. Fourth, fifth sessions were forgiveness. 6, 7 sessions were like out in the world, inspired action. And then final few sessions were anything that came up, reflection, integration, embodiment. No niche, any problem. The first niche found me, career change, because that's what I knew. That's what everyone came to me for. It was a retrospective thing. The simple offer is brilliant because when you have a simple offer in place, you're not worried about the niche. You're thinking about what offer? What is the offer? What is the problem I solve? When you are clear on that, it gives you clarity and conviction. The two things you need to then go out and sell it. So that when you're in discussions with people, it is simply a matter of, oh, well, this is what I do. This is who it's for. These are the problems we solve. No one gives a fuck about my niche. No one really cares. What people care about is the problem I solve. That's all it is. So we create a simple offer, and then you simply decide what your marketing is going to be. Again, when people say to me, when coaches say to me, where's the best place to go to sign clients? Where is the best place to go to know where to post? Where do I get clients from? Which platform's working the best at the moment? Is it Reels? Is it TikTok? Is it long form? Is it short form? Look, all of it works. There are gurus on every platform telling you every platform works because they all work. But what works for you is the one that you want to do, the one that you feel aligned to, the one that you want to be on. And when you choose it with simplicity, specificity, and potency. What we don't do, notice what I'm not saying. I am not saying be in every place, everywhere, all the time. Not when you have a 9 to 5. You choose one, maybe two places max. You keep it simple so that every single day when you come home from work, you know exactly what to do, where you're doing it, and why. Then we get specific, and we've got specific because you have a clear offer. And when you have the brilliance of simplicity and specificity, you can then show up with potency. You can own what you know. That comes a little bit more later with the embodiment piece, but the potency in your marketing is easier when you know exactly where you are, what you're doing, how you're doing it, and you just have to repeat. Then there's no drama about what do I do today? It's just a matter of getting on and doing it. Then, simple selling. This isn't just your calls to action. This is about high integrity sales in your sales calls. We've spoken about this a little bit in the consults, about being a professional, having a structure where people can come in and genuinely feel safe, feel heard, feel seen, feel guided, and know that they are genuinely being taken through a process where they get to decide and make a powerful decision about how they're going to show up. Service plus professionalism plus integrity is how you sell from a soul-led place. Professionalism doesn't come from looking fancy, from photo shoots, from branding, from a freaking logo. Professionalism comes through guiding a client in a high integrity way without scripts, without pushing them, without manipulating them. I am not interested in that. That was one thing that I said I would never, ever, ever do when I became a coach. And my clients love selling the way that I teach them how to sell. Because I sell, I'm going to give a little bit away here, I sell from a place where selling is the natural next step, where it's like, well, duh, obviously. Service plus professionalism plus integrity. This is where selling and making money gets to feel good. And then, of course, systems that support a repeatable process to sign clients. And lastly, CEO embodiment. This is the real work. Once this is decided, these four, I should have put systems that support here. Once these are in place, all that's really left is actually working it. Learning how to alchemize fear into personal power. Having boundaries with your 9 to 5. Watching your attitude, your habits, behaviors around the 9 to 5. Making service-led sales comes from embodiment, comes from belief. You can't do service-led sales when you're thinking that your pricing is too expensive. How is that of service to your client? Oh, please come and work with me. I think it's really expensive, by the way. So it's high integrity in the decisions you make in your business, doing it from a place of service, aligned pricing, inner child work. We do so much inner child work, operating from divinity, connection to source, resilience and grit, and daily leadership. So that is everything that I wanted to share with you today. I hope that this has given you a really powerful insight into how you can build your business around the 9 to 5, how I was able to serve my clients to do so in a really aligned, powerful way, in a way that made sense for them, their life, the context of their 9 to 5, and their business. So I'm now going to go into the segment where I tell you about Thrive Group. If you wish to leave now, you're very welcome to. If you'd like to stay, I'm going to share with you the bonus that is available to everybody here on replay. So let me first tell you about Thrive Group. Thrive is a 6-month immersive coaching and mentorship experience designed just for coaches to help you build a soul-led, profitable coaching business with aligned strategies and CEO-level embodiment. The next round begins July 9th until January 9th, 2026. So we've got just a few weeks. What you get inside is 3 strategy sessions for the first week where we are going over your offer, price, Messaging, marketing, and sales. Those key decisions that I said we make at the beginning so that we have 6 months to implement, to embody, to grow. You also get access to Thrive 2.0 portal with 80 plus trainings. You get weekly coaching and mentorship calls and Telegram chats. So, weekly coaching and mentorship calls are obviously with me. I'll be coaching you, and it's a mix. Some sessions are part training, part teaching, and then the rest is open coaching. Some of them are more workshop facilitation. So, I'm going to take you through a specific process and have you workshop with me as we go. And other sessions are just open coaching, opportunity for you to come to session with whatever you're working through, and I'll coach you in real time with what's going on. It is my eyes on your business every single week with a Telegram chat. So, in the chat, you can also ask for coaching Monday to Friday. There's also accountability and celebration drops as well every Monday and Friday so that you can stay on track and committed. Because the biggest thing I see with coaches is that you have a flurry of activity and then you stop. You have a flurry of activity and then you stop. What you need is consistency. And consistency happens by being supported in the right container. Messaging reviews and audits. I will go over your messaging, give you feedback on what you're actually saying, help you get specific in your messaging so that you're not using coachy language. Get really clear in what your actual transformation is so that when you are creating, when you are putting yourself out there, whether it's a website, whether it's your posts, whether it's a podcast, your email lists, I will audit it all with you. And then every month, around the first of the month, we're going to do monthly goal alignment and check ins, which is where I ask you to reflect on the month just past using my system that you learn in Systems That Support so that you have that regularity, so that you know exactly what's going on in your business and that there's no surprises. And we begin July 9th, 2025. So here's the link to join. It's coachingwithpamella.com/thrive. And if you have questions, let me know in the chat. It will be, oh, add QR code. Totally forgot to do that. I'll have to do that next time. But if you have questions, now is the time to ask me. So, some of the questions that some people have asked me in the past about joining Thrive Group is, will you get one-to-one support? Now, obviously, this is a group container, and the application process is to make sure that everybody that comes into Thrive Group is actually in a position where you are committed, where you are ready, where you are in a stage where you're like, this next 6 months is 100% where I'm going next. This is it for me. This is what I want. This is where I'm going. This is what's happening. This is exactly what I need. So the application form is to make sure that those who join are in a position to make that kind of commitment, who want to get coaching every single week, who is already showing up in their business, who is committed to showing up powerfully and knows that you could change the game very freaking quickly with the right accountability, the right messaging support, the right mindset upgrades, the right eyes to look at your offer, your pricing, your sales process, your sales calls, even when you're delivering to clients, and any of the mindset stuff that comes up off the back of it. When we do this powerfully together, I want you to know that these groups are small. I am capping the amount of people that can join. And as of the time of this recording, it being June 2025, this is the second round of Thrive Group. So it is still a relatively small group. I don't expect it to be any more than 10 to 12 people, but it might be less. So there are some sessions where when we speak, you'll get me for 20 minutes at a time. For some sessions for the first round, when there was only 1 or 2 people that showed up in a coaching call, you had me for the entirety of the coaching call, depending on what was coming up. And the power of not just having that my eyes on your business, because when I coach you, it's like there's no one else in the room. I don't care if there's 11 other people in the room. When I am coaching you, you get all of my attention, all of my focus, all of my energy. And When you witness other people going through what you're going through, this is the power of group that I'm most excited about with this, is that you get to start picking up on the challenges that other people are facing before you ever have to face them. You're banking knowledge about business problems and how to move forward and what to do and the action to take and the embodiment to make and the way to channel them so that when you face them for yourself, you know exactly how to be. That is where the value is in a group. And obviously, the price point is much cheaper. To work with me one to one at the time of this recording is 5K, one to one for 6 months. To join Thrive Group, it is 2,200. Pay in full. There are also payment plans available. And when you join, the bonus for joining before this Friday is that you get 2 additional one-to-one calls with me to use anytime over the 6 months together. So even though you get the weekly one-to-one calls, the Telegram support, where it's Monday to Friday with Monday accountability check-ins, Friday celebrations, as well as the portal to not only get all of the trainings on marketing, selling, offer, pricing, creating, messaging. I haven't even mentioned the bonuses yet. Oh my God. Messaging mastery, or the additional bonuses, I should say, messaging mastery and systems that support. You also get access to all of the previous cohorts. So you can watch previous coaching sessions and see the strategy sessions from the first round, the coaching and the trainings from the first round, the messaging audits from the first round. And these are the bonuses that you also get that I'm including in Thrive Group. This is for anyone who joins at any time. But when you join Thrive Group before this Friday, the 20th of June, you will get 2 additional one-to-one calls. Regardless of when you join in this round, you will also get the following bonuses. You get the Purpose Pathway course, which is a course dedicated to you to learn exactly where your purpose comes from, so that you always have a why, so that you never lose sight of your mission and vision and purpose. You also get access to messaging mastery. I mean, I couldn't not give that to you. It's a foundational piece of my trainings. My coaches have said to me, who have gone through messaging mastery as a standalone, and those who have gone through it as part of my one-to-one and Thrive group, they say that it was a game changer, not only in offer creation, in niche drama, but obviously in the messaging itself, in writing powerful messaging, in messaging mastery. You will learn all about the client journey, storytelling, your hero's journey, tweaks, shifts, specificity, how to shift your language so that it is powerful, empowered, activating, magnetic. I also have trainings on how to create multiple pieces of content from one piece of content, how to repurpose your content. This is invaluable when you have a 9 to 5 and you don't have time. How to become a prolific writer. You will never again struggle with what to say, how to say it, how to be powerful, how to say what you mean, how to share your story from a place of healing, even when you're still going through stuff. I also share with you how to discuss leadership content, how to actually stand for something, advocate for something, how to be disruptive in the industry. Messaging Mastery is a masterpiece. You get that included when you join Thrive Group. In addition, I am giving everybody in this round the exit plan. I mean, how could I not? This is the How to Build Your Coaching Business Around the 9 to 5 webinar, after all. The exit plan is my signature proprietary process that will help you determine exactly when you should leave your 9 to 5 based on your personal financial situation, your mindset, and your risk tolerance. This is the program, other than Thrive Group, that I wish existed when I was going through it. It will teach you how to survive the 9 to Thrive how to survive the 9 to 5. Not just survive, how to thrive in the 9 to 5. Because here's the thing. When you can become powerful at work as a coach, holding both identities in their fullness, that is going to make you a very magnetic coaching leader for your clients and your audience. Because let's put it another way. If you become the coach who had to escape the 9 to 5, who couldn't survive the 9 to 5, who burnt out from the 9 to 5, and you want clients to pay you to help them build fulfilling careers, build a fulfilling life, survive burnout, you've got to walk the walk. You becoming powerful in your 9 to 5 makes you a better coach and a better leader and a better business owner. That is why I created the exit plan. Not just to help you create the exit plan, but while you are working in the 9 to 5 to be stronger. Because the truth is, Thrive Group is a business course. When we go through offer creation, pricing, marketing, messaging, sales, systems, consults, that is all business. The coaching that you get is going to support you no matter your circumstances. The exit plan helps you write your exit plan and prepare to go full time as a coaching business owner. And lastly, I'm also giving you the visibility challenge. Those of you who have been in my world quite recently will remember the visibility challenge. It is the last program that I created. And the truth is, I created it for Thrive Group. And I did it for everyone inside that program. And then I decided to extend it to the public. In truth, I actually did it for me. And then I decided to bring my Thrive Group along. And then I decided to extend it to the public. Because when we work together over the next 6 months, you are going to be getting visible. But there are things about visibility that are more about the moment to moment, the micro moments, the way that you hold yourself day to day. Maybe on a Monday, you're like, fuck, it's Monday again. Ugh, here we go. Are you tempted to not work on your business on a Monday because you just feel a bit shitty on a Monday? That's going to change with the visibility challenge. Do you get to Wednesday and you're like, oh, nearly there. Happy hump day. By Friday, you're like, thank God it's Friday. And then by the weekend, you're like, shit, do I work? Do I need a day off? What do I do? The visibility challenge is going to help you become consistent, become powerful, to lead yourself in your visibility so that when you implement everything that we do inside Thrive Group, you will be able to do it powerfully, but with grace, without shaming yourself. Because how you do one thing is how you do everything, right? How you build your business is going to be how you operate in your business when you're full time. I don't want you to build a business from hustle, because when you do go full time in your business, you won't know how to stop. The 9 to 5 mindset won't really leave you. What we need is powerful boundaries, powerful action taking, intentional strategy that is focused only on what signs you clients. And that is exactly what we do inside Thrive Group. So just to recap, it is the strategy sessions. We kick off on the 9th of July. 9th, 10th, and 11th. We start off with your offer and price. We go into messaging. We go into marketing and sales. They are a powerful 3 days to start you off strong with the core decisions in your business. Then we have 6 months together. We're going to coach weekly. I expect you to treat it like one-to-one. Come to session ready to get coached. Come to session ready with the challenges that you've been working through. Come with your questions. Come with your frustrations. Come with your challenges. Come ready to be witnessed, to be seen, to support each other, to get coaching and mentorship that is going to guide you to keep the momentum, to keep the consistency, to have that regular touch point every single week so that you always have somewhere to go to know that you've got somewhere that is just for you to focus on your business, to keep it going. Messaging audits monthly and monthly goal alignment and check-ins to keep you on track to the bigger picture that we're going to be setting in the strategy sessions, to keep you focused and aligned. And you get Telegram with Monday accountability, Friday celebrations, and support for coaching Monday to Friday, as much or as little as you need. This is an intentional business program for you to level up in your business, to sign clients, to build the business that you know you are capable of. So to apply, go to coachingwithpamella.com/thrive. I'll also put it in the chat. And if you have questions, drop me a message. The one-to-one piece I said, you are going to get one-to-one with 2 bonus sessions to use anytime in the 6 months together. If you sign up before this Friday, which is Friday, the 20th of June. So if you sign up this Friday, you get 2 one-to-one sessions. You also have the opportunity to upgrade if you want to make it a hybrid and have more regular one-to-one sessions. And there are payment plans available. This is what happens. So what happens after the application form? What happens after you submit the application form is I'll review it within 36 hours, and then I'll drop you an email and a DM and invite you to the next step. You can request a consult, and if you've requested a consult, we'll schedule one. And if you haven't requested a consult, but you're like, yeah, I'm in, I want this, freaking sign me up, then I'll send you the link if I think it's a good fit. Don't stress about the application form. If you are here, you're listening to this webinar, you're resonating with the things that I shared with you along this webinar. If you're like, yep, she gets it, she gets it, she gets it. And this frequency, this energy, this level of activation is what you know will help you up level in your business over the next 6 months, then it is highly likely that it will be a good fit. This is the only thing that I'm not going to do over the 6 months together. I'm not going to convince you to build a business. I'm not going to tell you to not quit. I'm not going to give you smoke up your ass and tell you, oh, it's going to happen for you, because the only way it's going to happen for you is when you decide that this is what you want and you are going to become the version of you that unapologetically continues to advocate for your dreams and show up for them. Building a business doesn't happen because you signed up for a course. Building your business isn't going to happen just because you join Thrive. Joining Thrive is your commitment to a business that's going to happen anyway, because you are becoming a coach anyway. Don't join this program to prove something to yourself. Don't join this program because you need convincing to do the work. I'm not interested in that. We can coach on it one time. I'll give you that. But if you're coming back week after week after week, and it's excuse after excuse after excuse, and you're too busy and you're too busy and work is too much and it's not the right time, it's not the right time. Come back to me next year. Come back to me in January. Come back to me in July 2026. This room, this round, this next 6 months is for the coach who is already all in, who is already committed, who already knows that come fucking January, you, if not already going to be full-time, you want to be on that path, knowing that you have been taking the action. You want to be side by side, shoulder to shoulder with other coaches who are on that path as well. You're not interested in joining a coaching call with someone who is complaining again that they were too busy. When you have the right room, when you have the right strategy, when you have the right belief in yourself, showing up is a byproduct. It's natural. It's like, well, duh, of course I am. So it doesn't matter if you haven't shown up so far. It doesn't matter what happened for the first 6 months of this year. What I'm interested in is what you're committing to now and what you're going to commit to in month 2, month 3, month 4, month 5, month 6, when the initial buzz has has run out. I know for a fact, if I was a participant in this room when I was building my business around the 9 to 5, I mean, I did this for her and I still do this for her. And it's why I have stayed with this offer, this niche for the last 3 years. This is the same program my one-to-ones get. It's the same portal that my one-to-ones get access to. We're just doing it in a group at a slightly lower price point because I want there to be community. I want you to know the power of being shoulder to shoulder with other coaches on the same journey as you, to recognize that the things you're going through are not just you, that it's okay to want something and not be there yet, but to know that you're on the right track, to know that you're on the right path. There is so much magic in that. It is the exact program I wish I had, which is why I sell it so powerfully, why I believe in it so much, and why the people who come through this program create such beautiful success, because it resonates deeply, just as it resonates with me. This level of conviction, this is what you're going to be developing in your offers, in your one-to-one program. This is the level of conviction that you're going to be absorbing through osmosis just by being in the room with me. I'm proud of what I've built. I cannot wait to share it with you. Go to this link here to apply, and I'll also send you an email with the details as well. So you have a little bit of time to think about it if you want to. But the bonus of 2 one-to-one calls, 60 minutes each, anytime over the next 6 months, is available until Friday, the 20th of June, 2025. Go to www.coachingwithpamella.com/thrive in capital letters to apply now. All right, my loves, I'm going to wrap it up there. It has been a freaking delight to share this with you. I hope you're feeling fantastic. Let me know in the chat how you're feeling, what's coming up for you. I know some of you have joined late, some of you had to leave early. The replay is going to be sent out imminently, so I'm going to send it to you. So catch the rest. Drop me a DM if you're watching this on replay. Drop me a DM. But if you're interested, send in your application. Let's have a powerful discussion. Let's get you on the journey to build your coaching business around the 9 to 5. Not because it's the end game, hell fucking no, but because it's an essential stepping stone on that journey. All right, my loves, have a beautiful rest of your day, and I'll see you very soon.